What's up, guys? So let's preface this. I just started the morning off by spending like almost 3 hours doing research on how to build the subfloor in this thing. Sounds like a pain in the ass, just because the actual sets of wood and the foam board that's available in the area at the hardware stores, it was just like, makes my head hurt trying to think about it so much. But I got a pretty solid game plan, so today I'm gonna go to Home Depot, and I already told the wife we have to have 2 parts because of the amount of crap we gotta buy. So I'm gonna start getting everything prepared today. I'm gonna buy everything and start laying it out and like really seeing, how to go about it. I'm a little like anxious about it just because it's like new to me, but I'm pretty sure I can handle it. I got all the tools necessary for the job already, so pretty stoked about it. Let's see what happens. Oh, all right. What up, guys? So I went to Home Depot earlier. I bought everything for the subfloor. I think. I say that because I have this really bad tendency of going to Home Depot and forgetting at least one thing, and I'm pretty sure there is one thing I forgot, and I think I said it earlier, and now I don't even remember. So, as I'm going, I'm going to figure out what that one thing is, and it's probably going to irritate me, and I'm going to have to go back. So, anyways, for now, what I'm going to do is, I did definitely need to buy like some of that like craft paper that you can get at Home Depot, or like it's like painter's paper would work. But so I need to make a template to go around to build my subfloor. So I'm going to actually just use this. I have this cardboard box here, so I'm gonna cut this up and I'm gonna use it to make a template to go around my wheel wells and in this back door area. Honestly, the rest of it looks pretty straightforward. The very front towards the seats looks like I'm going to need to do a little template up there as well. And I'm going to make the template so that it's easier for me to cut the plywood that's going to be on top of my subfloor. It's just going to make it a lot simpler. I don't want to try cutting and measuring and doing all that on the plywood. I'd rather just do this. And I'm actually going to add another step because I saw it on someone else's video here on YouTube. He used paper, he made the template, and then he put it on a piece of OSB board because it's cheap, and if you mess up, it's not a big deal. But that way I can so I'm going to take my cardboard template, I'm going to put it onto OSB, cut that, make sure it fits properly around my wheel wells and around the bends and the edges and whatnot, and then I'm gonna put that onto the piece of plywood that I'm actually using for the top of my subfloor, and then I'm gonna cut all that out. So let's see what happens. I have no idea. This could turn out horribly wrong. I honestly don't even know how to start this. I'm just kind of winging it. So let's check it out. So I made this template out of cardboard. Probably a better method to do it, but I made it out of cardboard and it worked, I think, hopefully. It's for around the wheel well so that I can cut out the piece of plywood for my subfloor. But I'm gonna make a template onto this OSB board first, just because it's cheaper, and that way I can kind of get a practice cut going, and if I mess up, it's not that big of a deal. All right, here we go. Cut out template, let's see if it works. It's actually pretty close. All right, so now, before we continue with the subfloor, we're gonna go ahead and put these guys on. It's some sound deadening for the wheel wells, killing that, and they got pretty good reviews there on Amazon, so we're gonna go ahead and try it. We're just doing the wheel wells because there's a lot of noise when you drive that comes up out of those wheel wells that we've noticed. Some people will end up doing the bottoms and whatnot. I'm gonna not do that. I'm just doing the wheel wells, and then later on in the build we're gonna do the walls as well. so that when our dogs are in the van or anything like that, or we're inside the van, we're not bombarded with sounds from the outside. To start though, we are going to use Simple Green. We're going to wipe it all down and just get it nice and clean, make sure there's no dirt and dust on it so that the product sticks really well, and hopefully it'll knock out all the sound. Okay, so I guess I've never done this before, so I guess I'm just gonna start at the top here. So this is sticky already. You put this on, boom, and then here's this little sound deadening glue roller, I believe is what it's called, that I got off Amazon. I'll put the link in the video comments. Bio?
I don't
What is it? Something. The link will be underneath this video for you. But so you put this on and then you just roll it out. And the mat here, it has like little things on it. Like it's like a texture almost. But as you roll it, that's the glue, and that'll come out and it'll really stick really well. Okay, so I finished my templates for around the wheel wells and to the front of the cargo area by the driver and passenger seat. Now, I am going to be using these 2x2s here, which their actual size is 1.5 inches, but I'm going to be cutting these for around the edges and in the middle for supports for my 3/4 inch plywood that I'm going to be putting down. Kind of going around the edges first, and then I'm going to fill in with some extra supports around the inside. Then I'm going to be using 1.5 inch foam board to fill in between those to insulate. So kind of just bear with me here, and I kind of already started, and you can kind of see what I got going so far. Alright guys, so for next up on my agenda for this subfloor is I'm going to be cutting the foam board. And I have all of, let me show you. I have all of my 2x2s laid out. They are not stuck down yet, but I have them all where I want them so that I think I'm going to have ample support as I build the subfloor around it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start all the way back in this corner, and I'm going to just measure, length and width, cut my foam board, put it in place, make sure it fits, and as I go, just a little side note, because I think it's going to make it easier in the long run, is I'm going to number each 2x2 starting in the back left corner because it's the farthest out. I'm going to number them, 1 through however many pieces I have here so that I know exactly where they go as I take them back out to clean the floor and actually put them in place. I hope I have enough 2x2s in here to really support my board or my subfloor really well. That seems like the worst possible thing that could happen is not having enough support underneath the plywood. And having that plywood break at some point because there's too much weight on it. So my one suggestion is almost feel like you're going overkill on it, right? It might take a little bit longer because you're gonna have to cut more foam board out or whatever kind of insulation you're using. I personally like the idea of the foam board because it's a solid piece of insulation right there. It's not going to give too much, especially with weight being dispersed on the 2x2s. So I'm pretty stoked about what I got so far. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this foam board up and putting it in place, numbering all of my 2x2s and numbering the foam board as well as when I put it in so that I'll know where that goes as I move forward. All right, so you can kind of see, you've been able to see what I'm doing. I'm actually using my jigsaw to cut the foam board. I saw some other people doing that on YouTube, and at first I was kind of thinking, it might make it a little tough, but it's actually like a hot knife going through butter. I highly suggest it. It's going to be a lot easier than trying to use a utility blade or some other kind of hand saw. The electricity or battery power is definitely going to help, and it's super easy. Just make your lines. I use Sharpie on the foam board, and it worked perfectly. So I'm going to show you real quick exactly what I'm doing in here. So I'm just laying it all out, numbering my foam board. I'm also numbering my wood. You can kind of see the numbers there. So I'm putting all these in. I'm probably going to end up taking them out so I can get pieces of foam board up into those smaller spots up there. But realistically, I just wanted to make sure that everything's going to work out fine. And I am just going to keep on going with this and kind of check in with you guys as I go. If I find out any other little hacks along the way, I'll definitely let you know. Honestly, I think it's pretty straightforward. You just gotta be confident in making the cuts that you need to fit in the locations that you need. And I'm just measuring each spot one by one, making sure my distances are the same length and width wise. All right, so I am completely done with the subfloor. Well, no, I scratched that. Not completely done, but I have it all laid out. So I got my 2x2s down, I got my foam board all cut, everything's in, and I'll just kind of show you what I got so far. So this is what I got. It's all in. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so it's all in. Everything's numbered. Every piece of wood's numbered. Every piece of foam board is numbered. And it's exactly how I'm hoping it all goes back in once I'm completely done. Okay? So, now that it's all in, I drew it all out on a piece of paper, and I'm going to take some pictures of it, and I'm going to take it all out. I'm going to paint the wood with primer so that it helps with waterproofing the wood. And from there, I'm going to put everything back in, glue it down, and put it back together. Alright guys, what's up? So, I got all my installation laid, and now I'm going to be using this stuff, gaps and cracks. I already kind of started using it, I just want to test it out, and I really wish I would have had the video rolling because I shook it up, I shook it up 60 seconds like it says, and then, I started pulling the trigger, wouldn't come out. So, what do? Being a guy, I look into it to see if it's coming out, and boom, it sprays up. Cat leg reflexes got me out of the way quick. So I'm just gonna kind of show you how I'm putting it in. Let's zoom in a little bit here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but it expands quite a bit. So there it is, like so, and then once I'm done I'll be able to scrape it. Okay, so we have cut and sealed all of our plywood that we're going to be putting on the subfloor. Now we got it in the van and I'm going to be screwing it down. Guys, so I'm finally finished with the subfloor. It took a little bit longer than I expected, but it was my first project in the van. I'm not a carpenter by any means, so there was a little bit of trial and error, but I got it. This damn thing is solid, you know, solid enough to live on. Boom. So anyways, the last thing I did is I took this sealant and I went over all the screw holes and just kind of flattened it out with a putty knife. It should seal it up pretty good, make sure I can't get any water in there. But stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to be installing a deluxe Maxx Air fan in the roof, and it's going to be fun. Should be an adventure. I get to cut a hole in the van. Not looking forward to it.